Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with some friends this week. One of them didn't wake up. But
Hello.
Oof.
That's all good. I'll
It
just leave
happens.
everyone else over. Hi, welcome back, Comn. Welcome back, everyone.
Yay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Apologies about last week. I decided as like an executive decision that a stream with 2 people wouldn't really be that fun.
Plus, it was Mother's Day. It's going
Yeah.
to take a break.
There was
Mhm.
things going on, and
Oh, wait, it was?
Yes.
in
Yep.
In
America.
America.
Oh, okay.
So okay, now
Yours
we're almost
doesn't
at the
count.
end. There isn't a ladder in the back. Yeah. Hi. Introductions. I'm Rose, though you probably know that, or you can call me SpaceFlower, or whatever else I get called these days, Mum. I don't know. And I'm the voice actor for Earth-chan, an admin on the server, and I'm an honorary musician now. Fuck yeah.
Yay.
Nick.
I'm Nick, or Pecan Tool, voice of that speedy boy Mercury.
And the trap.
No, not a trap.
Not a trap.
Tata.
Hi. Hi, I'm Kata. You should know me by now. I'm on like every Australian stream.
Yeah. Fair point. He's an artist. If you
Yeah.
didn't know that already.
Oh yeah, I am.
Minor details. Minor details.
And then we have Comn.
And I am Comn. I am the leader of this project. It's very early in the morning, but I get things organized, and I try and show up to as many of these as I can.
Hi. It's good to have you here. I
Yay.
definitely feel like I'm
Mhm.
not going to get a 20-minute rant a couple of days later that I leaked something if you're here at the time. So that eases some of my worries. Anyway, well, I mean, before we get into this week's sort of festivities, as you can probably tell by the massive picture in the background, we are talking about a certain Saturn this week. I did try and get his voice actor on, like he was going to be on last week, but that never happened. So as we are doing these character in-depth analyses,
Analyses.
analysis. Okay. As
Analysis.
we are doing these in-depth
Anyway.
analysis thingies,
Saved it.
I will try and get the voice actors on because it is nice to have like a little bit of like we definitely let our voice actors shape the characters, but like he's not here, so Pon, if you ever see this, like we love you, we're sorry.
It's good that I'm NASA because I have all the data.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, I have a fair amount of data myself, but
So do I.
90% of it is courtesy of your own probes, NASA. So
Yes.
for that.
NASA's probes go everywhere.
I had to work for my data.
Somebody quote that.
No, please don't.
Kara's already quoting it.
Don't worry, I already recorded it.
Oh no.
Beautiful.
That's a joke.
He said it live.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so
It's my
with
own
that,
fault.
let's get into what we did this week. Although it's actually 2 weeks, because that's what I made a point of before. We missed some stuff last week, so I'll go over the notes that I had written for myself of what happened last week first. So last week, Saturday night was Eurovision, which means nothing to most of the Americans, but that's all right. It was a good time. I didn't get too drunk. Again.
It was good. I went back and rewatched most of the songs.
The best thing about Eurovision is the drinking games, and I have to shout out one of my friends from a couple of years ago. He invented probably the stupidest drinking game in the world, which is during the points section, and I'm just going to assume that some of you basically know how the points works, where each country gives points to a maximum of 10 other countries, and I think there's like 26 in the final. So every time a country gives points, 16 countries don't get any points. And it goes through 43 countries. So there's 43 chances to take a shot. And every time Britain doesn't get any points, you take a shot. This year it would have been 39 out of 43.
Because
Oh, no.
basically, like for the uninitiated, how the points work is it's whoever the country likes the most politically.
Oh,
It's not based on the song at
okay.
all.
The jury that votes on the thing are all the musical like critics of the like country, except for one, and I'm sure it's usually like the prime minister or whatever. Because Greece always gives Cyprus their 12 points, and Cyprus always gives Greece their 12 points, and you know how. So they always get booed for it. Like there's some that are so clearly political, and they always get booed, but it still happens. Like France always gives Britain 1 point, and they always go wah wah, and it's really funny. But it's like that's just how it goes. It's like Eurovision is Europe's way of ensuring we don't start World War II again, because instead of fighting each other with guns, we're just really passive aggressive once a year. But it's good fun, and there's a lot of interesting music. So if you haven't looked up some of the songs, I recommend it. This year we had Vikings, we had a flaming piano, there was one heavy metal band, and they went crowd diving. You know, just Eurovision. It's good fun.
Chickens.
Oh yeah, that
The
Israel's
winner.
song was top quality.
This song was very, very good.
There was also a total of 6 dabs over the evening, so you may want to cover your eyes. It was good fun. It was good fun. It's always a good time. Other things that happened last week within the team. Actually, I've got this. We emailed Elon Musk again. Still no reply.
He's gonna
Yeah.
file
At 2 a.m. with official documents.
He's gonna file a restraining order soon enough on the whole
Yeah.
server.
Bless him, Link. I thought he was gonna be on here today. He's
Now we can
deleted
talk
so many
trash
other
about him.
things recently, and he's just like, I really think we ought to give him, instead of the mod role, he ought to get the clumsy mod role, just where he doesn't have quite enough permissions to ruin everything.
So he becomes admin.
Bless him. Oh, we do love him. He is a good moderator.
He's very good. Great guy.
Just
Yep.
a little bit heavy-handed from time to time.
Good moderator.
Good moderator. I mean, it's coming from a badmin, so you know. Then also last week we introduced a new channel on the Discord server, the Comn and Eye Bleach channel. So if you haven't seen it already, mods have completely spammed it with everything lovely and cute and huggable. So if you're ever feeling sad, it's a good place to go and just be safe for a few minutes. There's animal videos, there's a lot of Natsuri because Fortnite. But there's a lot of cute things in there, so I just wanted to advertise it. That was Comm's
The
idea.
channel I wish I could post in.
Yes, maximum comf.
And I think it just envisions the kind of community we want to have on the server, which I think is lovely. So yeah, thanks for that one, Com. And
Anytime.
the last thing I have written down on what happened last week was apparently there was some new tech X Uwu memes, but I can't remember what they were or where they are, so unfortunately I'll just have to leave it as a mystery.
Oof. I
That's
don't
sort
remember
of-
those.
That's developed itself out over the course of the week, I think.
Oh, I
Lost a little bit of relevance.
I've been drunk.
No, I know.
I've been
You're
preparing
good.
for. I've been finals-ing, so missed
it.
I've been celebrating the royal wedding, which happened yesterday, and I didn't watch it. I did watch it. I didn't watch all of it. It gets a bit long.
oof.
But like, she had a really
No,
nice
that's fair.
dress, and there was nice cars, and Princess Charlotte was so cute. But yeah, it was good, and I hope Meghan is happy and stuff. And thank you for giving us an excuse to sit outside with fire and marshmallows and an incapable amount of beer. Thank you. It's all good. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants me to talk about the royal wedding anymore, so I won't. But that's happened.
No, we had an animators meeting actually while it was going on.
Yeah.
So
If I've been absent on the server recently, that's why.
I didn't
went to
actually
Paul's
know there
party
was a
this week.
wedding going on.
Well, it was.
now you're good.
It was.
Britain got a blanket excuse to go do whatever they wanted yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, we literally did. But I can still
Rip
see
Catter.
confetti all over the street.
Nope, he's back.
Anyway, It's I can't read my own writing. This is bad.
Oof.
Oh,
I know what that
well,
says. That was from last week. Why is it in this week? So we finally did all the voice lines. So I just wanted to point that out because we've said on every podcast that it hasn't been done yet, and I've been like calling out the others even though they're not here because I'm like the only female voice actor that ever comes on apart from Uru, and Uru has nothing to do. So we finally did it, and team main characters are off the hook for now.
finally.
Yay!
Yay.
Also, the family
yeah.
tree was resurrected because Comn put the time into making it not circle, which we
Aw.
appreciate.
Oh boy, I'll have to look this up.
It should have been a circle.
No.
Just no.
Why not?
We're not making it a circle.
It'll be fun.
No.
And then that's all I have. So if I want to open it up to you guys, what have you done in the team this week? What have you done this week?
Well, not in the team this week. I've been physics-ing, but I got Hyrule Warriors for Switch. Lana, best girl. I saw Deadpool 2 yesterday. Hilarious. Graduating on this coming Friday. Cool. But what I really want to talk about is some awesome news that's popped up and stuff.
Oh, not a small
All right.
game. I'm excited.
One's a small game. The other's a big game. I'm not just a hipster.
All right, go on.
First off, the next NEP game is coming to PS4 and Switch. First time it won't be only on PS4. So even though it's a small one, PS4, you just lost an exclusive, and I can tell them exactly why. They literally never advertised that these games existed. Never once. Never said, oh, hey, look at this exclusive game we have. But Nintendo is a lot more, I'll actually advertise the little guys. So that's probably why.
It's been on sale recently.
Yes, it's on sale. I highly recommend it.
Stream.
It's cheap and it's really good. Yes.
If you didn't realize already, Com's done it a few times, but I've taken it upon myself because I buy way too many games that are on sale to advertise, or not advertise, but notify in general. You know that I use the little Tadar emoji when I'm announcing the stream. I use similar things when I'm doing things about karaoke, whatever. But if something good is on sale on Steam, you can guarantee I'll put it in general.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I highly
I try to do that as well when I see it.
I highly recommend you guys pick it up. It's like the first 3 games are all 75% off, making them $8 a piece. So it's not too much of a money loss, a risk to play it, and they're pretty good. They're hilarious.
Not sponsored.
Yes,
believe
and they
me,
are.
we're not.
And I do really think you would like them, specifically because of how they are compared to Earth-chan.
Ooh.
Does anyone actually know what Hyperdimension's about?
Yes.
A little bit, yes.
Sort of. Cute girls.
Never played them, but research.
Not just cute girls. You ready for this? Because this is literally Earth-chan before Earth-chan. It's about video games. The main characters are cute anime girl versions of video game consoles. This is literally Earth-chan.
That's quite cute. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
The main character's adorable. But
The main character's based off Sega.
Sega.
The whole plot of the first game is Sega losing the console war and her getting knocked out and getting amnesia. It's hilarious. She is hilarious. The main character is literally Deadpool. I can confidently say that after seeing Deadpool 2 last night.
Amazing.
And already seen Deadpool 1.
Fair enough.
It's hilarious. Highly recommend. The games are cheap on sale right now. Get them. They're good, and they have a lot to Earth-chan, so you can probably take some stuff up for the project, so you can consider this a business move.
Oh yeah, link it in.
Consider this a bit.
Well, I mean, why do you think I'm here? Because of how similar the idea is from Hyperdimension. That's why I'm here.
This is
Well,
like
that's
when I
cool.
was like, oh, let's talk about sci-fi and link it to the project. Always link it in, then you look for.
I guess
Well, even
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the most sci-fi. It's more fantasy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What is the other game or?
All right. So, did you guys hear about the Pokemon leaks? No.
No.
No one.
No.
Wow.
No, I don't follow.
Like the fourth person, the fourth people I've had to tell about the leaks this week. The next Pokemon games have been, what they're going to be called, have been leaked, and some of the information about it. Okay, get ready for this. These are raw reactions, everyone watching. The next Pokemon games are going to be called Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Yellow sort of remakes.
Cool.
Okay.
Very minimal reaction. Good job.
We're all.
I don't think anyone here plays Pokemon.
I used to quite a lot, but like
Yeah.
right now is not the time to pick
Back
up
when
a
I was
new
like
game.
5, but sure.
I have exams I'm meant to be doing.
Well, I mean, the games are coming out to like next year.
That's a good thing then.
Well, we got plenty of time then.
We're all also
Yes.
really, really tired, so apologies. But yeah, that sounds cool. New Pokemon is always good. Rip them about
Indeed.
the leaks though. Poor Nintendo. Anyway.
Yeah, leaks, but remakes of Yellow, except they're not remakes because you're a new trainer, but Red and Blue will be in the story.
Cool.
And then it's Pikachu and Eevee additions, and that's about it. That's all we know. But we now know these exist. It's basically been confirmed, but it's still leaks. But it's basically been confirmed.
Awesome.
What? Cool.
Cool
Kata,
beans.
have you done anything cool this week? Team-wise or otherwise?
Well, in team-wise, I did one print.
Oh yeah, the promotional prints for the
Mm-hmm.
because we're
I
going
decided
to a
to take
convention,
upon
if you didn't
myself
know.
to.
But-
Yeah. Which convention was it again?
Well, one of us is going to the convention. The voice actor for Mars and Sunsei is going to a convention down in Florida, and she wanted to hand out some prints. So you guys made some prints.
So if you're there, look out for the Space Cat girl.
Yeah, we're trying to up the promotion a little bit. We've been working on our social media and stuff this week, which is why it's a shame Link isn't here because he's been doing a lot of that. And I
Yep.
also asked him to tweet it, but he's asleep.
I submitted.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Art is always good
I
as an artist.
also did a bunch of like hush hush secret stuff on the side.
Oh yeah, that's very exciting.
In terms of real life, I replayed all 4 of the Nickel Power games because I can.
Oh boy.
Nice.
And I took it upon myself to reanimate Comn for the update videos. So that's fun.
Yes, so look forward to that. Not in this week's because it wasn't finished yet, but
So that
maybe next week.
so that Facebook can actually pick up Comm's ugly mug.
Oof. Yep. Thanks for that.
So what do you do, Com?
I just noticed the ladder.
Yeah. The ladder.
Concentrate on making it go up straight so I can't like talk.
You know there is a GIF version of a ladder, you know.
Yeah, but it's more fun to do it this way.
Anyways,
It's a pretty tall ladder.
I guess while the ladder is still going up, I can talk a little bit about what I've done this week.
That's your
Or
timer.
these past 2 weeks. So these past 2 weeks, I've actually done quite a bit of stuff, especially since last week the voice actor lines came in. That meant that I could sit down and put together an animatic, which is the first stage of animation, which we used this weekend to do some work and discuss as animators and start breaking it up. So we're actually going to be moving into actual production relatively soon. So look forward to that.
Party.
It's done.
And I was there to record it.
Well, this is the first step. We're not quite there done yet.
First step of the ladder.
But
Yeah, I just saw how long the ladder is.
we're getting there. We're getting there. But most of this week and last week was taken up by final exams, which I finally finished up this Friday. So I'll have a lot more time from now on, hopefully, to work on things. Which is a good thing, too, because I'll have a lot more things to work on.
We all do. I mean, yeah, I'm fine. I'm tired.
You.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing things come together, and there's a lot of hush hush. We know, we keep saying it. We've been saying it for literal months now, but
We're sorry,
We're
but
very-
it's just the way it's gotta be.
we're very thankful for you being patient with us and holding on and telling people who aren't patient with us to go away in the general chat.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Be gone.
So yeah, thank you guys, and we hope we entertain you a little bit on the I forgot the word.
On the side.
The subject, on the subject of entertainment.
Oh,
The karaoke that I mentioned
Ah.
last podcast, which I was going to schedule for this weekend, until I realised that the two best times that people wanted it to do was, first of all, Saturday at the time which both the animators meeting and the royal wedding was. And the second most popular time was Saturday 2 in the morning, my time. Which
The Aussie and North American nights, respectively.
which I don't yeah, but effectively Aussie nights and North American nights, which I was kind of expecting, but like obviously with the animators meeting being the first one, I couldn't put it there, and I'd rather be at the first karaoke. Like I can sit in the call from 2 a.m. to 4 in the morning, but I can't really sing with you guys. So
Yeah.
it will be a couple of weeks, because actually next week I'm not here at all. I know I wasn't really here this week. I'm going camping. I'll be in the chat. I have plenty of data, but I can't be doing anything like that. But I actually have quite a lot of secret stuff that I can work on, so don't worry.
Camp.
I won't be not doing anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing the Eurocamp live action film.
Oh, are you going solo camping?
No, it's with my ranger group, as they call it. It's like the older girl guys. So
Fair enough.
we're semi camping as a group of friends, and semi camping to supervise 10-year-olds. But it's all good because we're allowed to hold them over the fire if they're annoying.
Sounds something Uwu would do.
But it's not
10-year-old?
many people's idea of fun, but waking up at 5 in the morning to light a fire and keeping it going until 2 in the morning is my kind of fun. So
I can't wait to
don't
wake up
knock
at 5 in the morning.
building
and
campfires. I love that.
fire to
yeah,
the kids.
I will be immensely more relaxed and less pissed at literally everything that happens in general chat when I get back. So
Sounds good.
It will be my stress relief, and I apologise for being a little bit this week.
No, you're good.
That's what
You're good.
Comp and eye bleach is for.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I'll take plenty of pictures of fire and put them in comp for you. If that
Nice.
Yay.
Maybe some videos and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm
I
gonna
can't
be
wait
next
to
week.
wake up at
But
5 in the morning and set fire to some
the
kids.
weekend I get the weekend I get back, there will be karaoke, and it will probably be Saturday night my time ish.
Okay.
So looking at maybe like 7 p.m, 8 p.m. GMT. So sorry, Australians, but hopefully as many.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, that's
Or actually, no, they can get up early for once.
Yeah, so it should be good fun. It should be good fun, and I have a list of songs. So I'll post the list some point during that week I'm away, and the idea is that if you want to sing a song, you sign up beforehand so I can put the playlist together, and so everyone knows what they're singing, and it will all be smooth using Mantaro, and awesome. Yeah, that's karaoke. So with that all done, we can move on to the actual topic of this week after half an hour. It's good. The less that my poor knowledge about planets shows, the better, especially as a physics major. Right. So Saturn was the planet that you guys in the chat voted on a couple of weeks ago for our first kind of deep dive segment, which I've decided to temporarily call Let's Get to Know Saturn, apparently, because that's what I wrote down last week, so we're rolling with it. So I told everyone who came that they couldn't join unless they came with a Saturn fact. So if you guys would like to share your Saturn facts to start with.
Oh, okay, so I'm starting.
Yes.
Saturn be the flattest planet?
Yes, I do have that correct. Saturn is the flattest planet, as it were.
We can make so many jokes with that. It's hilarious.
Earth-Chan's not flat, but Saturn is.
Ooh,
Kata, what's your Saturn fact?
I think we can. This is interesting. We can incorporate into the anime. Did you know that Saturn is named after the Roman god of farming?
So, what would Saturn farm in the anime? Or how would you incorporate that?
Farm the souls of the damned.
I mean, Saturn.
As in anyone who has attention.
Saturn in Roman mythology isn't technically a god; he's a titan. But yes, he was in charge of farming. Yeah. Interesting facts. Linked to that, actually, though, Saturn in Roman mythology is Jupiter's dad.
Which we're not incorporating into the show because they're twins in the show. We're not having any of that.
Yes, exactly.
Yet.
Not yet.
I refuse to have any character in the show call any other character in the show daddy, so we're not doing that.
Fair play.
New family tree.
No new family tree. No family tree at all. So, good Saturn facts. Comn.
It actually, fun fact, takes Saturn 29.4 Earth years to orbit the Sun, which is reflected in how long it takes him to figure out social situations.
Amazing.
That is a very good reason, I have to say. So, I'll now begin my Saturn farms karma on Reddit, Skellington says.
Did you know that Saturn was named after Saturday?
Okay. Yes, I knew.
Considering he was discovered by the ancient Babylonians in the 8th century BC, when Saturday didn't exist, I think that's in the wrong
What do
order.
you mean Saturday didn't exist? Saturday has always existed. Saturday is the universal notion of the fact that human beings like to not go to work and party.
Perhaps the notion, of course, existed. Perhaps it was not called Saturday at the time.
Ooh.
That's actually a weird thing to think about, that Saturday wasn't Saturday. But anyway.
Another fun thing we could incorporate into the
So-
story is, did you know that NASA's Cassini was destroyed by one of Saturn's moons?
Yep.
It was Huygens, actually, the probe that came off Cassini. Cassini was destroyed by Saturn itself.
Oof.
Yeah.
But,
Double.
you know...
Get your fun facts right.
Sorry, I'm on a
this is
page
what
of code
happens when you
36 facts you need to know.
Yes. This is what happens when you spend 2 hours before the podcast researching Saturn.
This is what happens when you have 5 dot points.
Okay, so I have done my research. The way this is going to work, so that I'm not just talking to myself like I was on the Earth-Chan day, which was fun, but, you know, let's not do that again. I've linked all of the facts I could find to Comm's beautiful character work, which was very well set in science, so it wasn't that difficult to do, actually.
Thank God.
Props to Comm
Did it
for
right.
that. So, basically, as I'm talking, I've got Comm's character document open and my facts open, and as I'm talking about it, we can talk about Saturn as a character and how it relates to the science. And yes, let's do a science podcast, okay? Go. Right.
Yay.
So, let's just, an introduction to Saturn, if you don't know what he looks like, would be what he looks like, I guess. So let's, I'll put up on screen if anyone's looking. I don't know if anyone actually looks at the visuals anymore, but there is a picture of our Saturn design drawn by our lovely artist Raluki.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful picture. As you can see, he is a very stern boyo.
It's not,
and
it's not 10,000 by 10,000, so it's not good.
I think it
come on.
originally was more than that. I had to shrink it immensely to make it fit on this page. But
Weak.
now you are slightly familiar with him, I will leave him up in the top corner.
And also,
He's
quick
a
disclaimer:
tall boy.
Mhm.
this art is not completely final. This
No.
is just a representation of what it probably will look like. It's not in the full final on-model art style, so just keep that in mind.
Yes.
But it's not like we can be
It's
bothered
still
to change it.
this is his concept art with the characters, that like the almost the final concept art. If you think of like a pilot for a show, like the first one that comes to mind is Steven Universe, the art style and all of the characters look widely different than they do in episode 1. So not saying
First
our
of all, that
pilot will
is
be like
definitely
that,
not what the
but
first thing comes to
things
mind.
change, and thanks Comn for reminding me, because I never remember to say that.
Yep.
Along with that, I've just pulled up some of the many bits of character art that we had leading into that piece of concept art, because we've had a few questions on YouTube and in general about how much thought we actually put into the characters, and
None.
there's 26 pieces of art in Saturn's folder, I think I counted, and these are just 4 of them, all done by different artists.
And if I remember correctly, there wasn't like as much concept art for Saturn as there was for other people.
No,
'cause
Yeah.
we like had an idea for Saturn right away.
yeah, Deep
Yeah.
had and I had an idea of, like, we had the same idea and then both tried to tell each other about it and went, wait, that's the same thing. Like, about 2 weeks into the project, so that's what you see on the top right, and obviously that's reflected in our design today, because one of the things we really wanted to make sure was that we didn't literally just slap a ring on his head. But we still explored other ideas, as you can see by these pieces of concept art, and we took the face from some of these and the expressions and the body builds. So then
eventually just ended up just slapping a ring on his head.
Not on, around the bottom of.
Yeah,
It looks good. It looks good.
D-pad was like, I was thinking of extending his hair so that it attenuates into a point to create the ring effect, and I was like, I was just thinking of a bob that sticks out at the end, and he's like, that's the same thing. Okay, don't use fancy language then.
Don't get all fancy on me.
But that's just D-pad for you. So yeah, that is our Saturn Boyo. I will leave the little concept thing up on screen so you can admire it a bit more, because it is a beautiful piece of art by Raliki. An amazing.
I was too busy working on Uranus, so I didn't do anything.
Yes, we
for
know.
him.
You and
Yep.
other artists literally refused to draw the male characters for absolutely ages until you were basically held down at the table and forced to draw Mercury.
Mate, I did the final Mercury.
Yes,
You
but
did
not very willingly.
after weeks.
Sailor says Saturn's
After
art
so
looked
much
real good.
crit.
Thank you. I mean, it's not mine, but I'll thank you on behalf of Raliki, because yeah, it is amazing. Anyway, on to the character and science of Saturn. So, I'm reading here from Comm's lovely words about it, but I will paraphrase a bit. So, Saturn is the oh so serious and studious guy in our anime. He's the embodiment of efficiency and dedication. He's the twin brother of Jupiter, as we've already mentioned, and he does get annoyed with her when she calls him little brother, which he does a little bit, even though he was only born seconds later. So, fairly good character to start with. This is all based in science. So, the reason why Jupiter and Saturn are twins, I presume, because this is reverse engineering, is that Jupiter and Saturn actually have very, very similar atmospheres, which you wouldn't really guess considering they look completely different. Does anyone know what their climates actually are, or their atmosphere is mostly made of?
Yes.
Gas,
I
yes.
don't have
Correctly observed,
I don't have it
Castle.
pulled up, but like hydrogen, helium.
Yeah, they're both made of hydrogen and helium, the two lightest gases, obviously, elements and
Yep.
stuff. And this is actually major evidence that they are the two oldest planets in the solar system, because hydrogen and helium were left over from the primordial cloud that formed the sun and the basis of the beginning of the solar system, whereas when the other planets were formed, they don't have as much hydrogen and helium, because hydrogen and helium being lighter dissipates faster. Hydrogen and helium were left over from the original Big Bang. They're the first elements that formed, whereas other elements are formed in stars, which then blow up and dissipate them across the solar system. So yes, they've got very similar atmospheres despite having different climates and different colours. And so they are twins, but not identical twins. So then, with the names we referenced earlier, in Roman mythology, Saturn is a Titan, part of what the Romans thought was like before the gods, and then Saturn is the father of Jupiter, and Jupiter is obviously the king of the gods. So he comes and smacks things.
Yeah, and although we do like to use inspiration from mythology and stuff like that relating to the planets, there's just some stuff that we'd rather base in scientific fact
Yeah,
than mythological fact, just because it works
The
better.
cool thing about Earth
Mars is male.
there's so many different ways that you can pull in, like there's so many different places to pull inspiration from the names and the mythology, from astrology, from astronomy, from real world science. You've got chemistry, biology on Earth, literally so many things, and it's just great that we can pull in from lots of different places. But a lot of people's favorite things are definitely the science, and I think a lot of people on the team are quite fond of science and physics as well, so we've definitely been basing it on that rather than Saturn is Jupiter's dad.
I feel
obvious
physics, so
reasons,
I wouldn't
because
know about that.
in an anime about a school, it would be a little bit odd to have Saturn, Jupiter in the same class as his dad.
Yeah.
Her dad, whatever.
Time travel.
Time travel?
Ah.
Let's not get into that. And then just an
Maybe.
interesting fact about Jupiter and Saturn together. Saturn and Jupiter combined amount for 92% of the planetary mass in the solar system. So obviously Jupiter
Which, in the show, equates to about 92% of the work done.
Nice. Yeah. Obviously Jupiter is the biggest planet, Saturn's the second biggest planet, and together they are 92% of all of the mass in the solar system, and not including the sun. This is planetary mass. Okay, so as Com actually made a really nice segue there, Saturn is one of, if not the top students in the class, because of his dedication to studying and his capacity for organising. So this is actually, again, linked to science, because Saturn is the least dense planet in the solar system. So whereas Neptune is the most dense and is socially thick and pretty academic.
Socially thick.
Is that not a thing?
Nice
I mean,
wording there.
his
I've
friend is
never
with
heard
his
it
friends with
described
Mercury,
that
so
way
of course
before,
he
but
is.
that's hilarious. No, like, I know what you mean. Like, I know what thick is in, like, British English. But the instantly the thing that I thought of in my head was, like, the more common now way of saying it, which is, like, the THICC.
Thickness is measured in C's, everybody. How many C's does it have?
Socially
Does it have
Sorry.
extra at the start?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But it still made me laugh.
Right. So, like, Neptune is thick, whereas... Okay.
That's going to be taken out of context and recorded.
You're welcome.
Whereas Saturn is, obviously, he's the least dense, so he's the cleverest. Interestingly enough, Saturn is so, like... What's the opposite of dense?
Not dense.
Not dense. So undense.
Perfect.
That if we did theoretically have an ocean large enough to put the entirety of Saturn into, it would float.
He would float.
Heck yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. And
also, just like another thing, like the least dense bit is really cool, but that's not actually what I based his being very organized on. That was actually based on the rings.
Oh, I've got
and the
that
fact that they're all very put together.
Yes.
Ah.
That was more on like the fact that he's top of the
Really
class. So I was just like,
Yeah.
oh well, he's clever. But yeah, I have got like a whole paragraph about the rings, so don't worry, I'll be back to it.
Cool.
Okay, and then another interesting fact actually that relates to the fact that he's clever and in class is relating to Saturn's relationship with the sun, so Saturn's relationship with Sun, say. And interestingly enough, one of the most misunderstood like phenomenons that happen. I just keep finding words I can't say. Phenomenons about Saturn
Yeah, you're good.
is that
Phenomena.
Saturn actually gives off more energy than it receives from the sun. And nobody really knows why. Like obviously, Earth, in order to survive as an ecosystem, the plants take the energy, and the whole atmosphere absorbs the thermal heat energy from the sun, and then it keeps us alive and warm and stuff. But Saturn emits more thermal energy into the rest of the cosmos than it does actually receive from the sun, which is, I mean, I
This
guess
is actually very cool and odd because that would have to mean that there's some kind of energy generation going on Saturn itself,
yeah,
which hints at maybe some kind of, probably not fusion like in a star, but it would be interesting to find out what is actually happening.
yeah.
It's a
I mean,
conspiracy.
the biggest kind of theory at the moment, because nobody really knows, is that it's due to both the amount of gravitational compression in the core compared to on the surface because of the high rotation speed, and then also the fact that helium is very prone to friction, and so a lot of heat energy would be generated as the high winds on the surface whip the friction around. But nobody
I
really
can
knows.
see that happening,
That's
but
just a theory. So, a game theory. Thanks for watching.
A planet theory.
That's just the biggest theory about it. So, yeah, I think that's very interesting. But we could definitely in the show link that to the fact that Saturn definitely puts out more to the school, both academically and in his work with the student council than he does absorb knowledge from Sensei. So I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's definitely a cool fact. Makes Saturn a pretty cool planet.
Indeed.
Okay, so
Hmm.
Saturn likes to have everything in order and follow all the rules, and any deviancy or rule breaking gets really on his nerves. This obviously means that NASA really gets on his nerves because of his rule breaking and disregard to rules that get in his way for the search of knowledge. And I didn't really have too much for this, apart from the fact that Saturn has devoured quite a lot of probes, but not quite as many as Mars, so it's not really one thing you can say. Like, Mars is literally just like a graveyard for failed probes. I think it's quite funny. I can't wait to talk about Mars.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
just some random facts that came with this one, and I think can relate a bit to his character as kind of like a serious one, is, as I think it was Nick who said before, Saturn is the flattest of the planets. What's meant by this is that obviously most planets in the solar system are not spheres; they're what's called oblate spheroids. So that means it's the Earth is as well. If you measure the Earth, the diameter around the equator, it is slightly longer around the equator than it is across the poles, so across the North Pole to the South Pole, because of the spin of the Earth around its axis, which is kind of interesting. But Saturn has the biggest kind of ratio between these, because it's so low density, so the spin and the gravity affect, like, the spin affects it more against the gravity, because the low density means that the gravity doesn't have as much an effect on the particles as they're further away, and also because it has a extremely fast rotation on its axis in the first place. It has one of the fastest day-night cycles of the larger planets. It only takes 10 hours and 34 minutes to do a full rotation on its axis. So it means like
which is very impressive considering that it's way bigger than Earth is.
The speed is enormous. So it means it's the second largest planet in the solar system, and yet it's only got 5 hours of daylight on one side. It's ridiculous. But then in comparison to that, it has a very relatively slow, compared to its place in the solar system, orbit cycle. It takes 29.4 years to orbit, as someone mentioned before, which is slow. It not necessarily because of how large its orbit circle is, but just because for some reason it travels slower than a few of the other planets. Again, maybe due to its low density, so the gravitational effect of the sun is less, and so it doesn't have as much acceleration going round. But
then it doesn't have to go as fast to avoid falling in or getting into an unstable orbit.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, going back to the like Saturn NASA thing, I had that more of just as a fun plot point than anything really based in science. Just full disclosure.
Oof.
I just thought it would be fun.
I think it is quite funny that Saturn literally does eat most of
Yeah.
the probes sent to it. Not almost on purpose though, because obviously Cassini was crashed on purpose last summer, which was really exciting to watch. If you guys didn't, it was like
Yeah.
it was really cool. But well, I think we can link most things to science, even if it's retrospectively.
Hey, Rabbit's here.
He is.
Oh,
Yes, I
wait.
am.
Showed up.
Oh, hi.
Middlemate.
Yeah, I don't have you on the screen, and I don't really have time to. You were on the screen, and I deleted you before we started. But
Oof.
Sad
Rabbit's
face.
here. He's in the background. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm the rabbit.
Good introduction. Let's move on. We're talking
Rabbit
about
is also an animator on the team.
I'm getting out of here.
Yay. I thought it was at 6, not 5.
Oof.
Oof. Well, we're talking.
That's why I passed out.
We're talking about Saturn. Do you have a Saturn fact?
Saturn has the most moons in the solar system.
Oh my god, hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. My phone is ringing.
All right, yeah. But yeah, Saturn. Moons.
Titan has.
Well, yeah, Infinity War isn't exactly NASA.gov though.
Sorry about that.
According to Infinity War, Titan now has one less moon.
I think the stream went
Wink,
down for a
wink.
second.
The scene when good old Thanos grabs a moon and throws it at the heroes.
I'm back, guys.
No, that was only
Sorry.
like a chunk.
I think the stream
Welcome
went down
back.
for a second because my computer locked while I was out.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm
Ooh.
really sorry.
Mute your phone,
No,
goddamn.
I think we're back.
Usually because I tell my family that we're on stream. My grandma's just been admitted to hospital, so
Ooh,
Oh.
sorry to hear that.
let's talk
Uh-oh.
about Saturn.
Tough luck.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just discussing the moons and how the big ones are like Titan and Enceladus, and they could possibly contain life on them
Oh,
because
yeah,
they
Titan-
have the
Titan
sort
has
of the
life.
frozen seas, and they're bigger than some of the dwarf planets in the solar system.
yeah. I remember.
Rip Pluto.
I was so surprised when I was younger. Like, we watched this documentary on Titan on the TV, and like I was sitting there with my dad, and they were like, "There could be life on Titan." I was like so shook because I was like 6, but I was.
Thanos is coming for us.
I was really, really shook. That's definitely one of the things that made me want to study physics. Definitely, yeah.
Thanos is coming for us all.
Isn't Titan like bigger than Mercury?
Yep.
I think so.
Ganymede and Titan are both bigger than Mercury.
Small boy.
Yeah, Titan.
Mercury is a small boy.
So if Pluto's not a planet, neither is Mercury.
Oof. No.
Okay.
That's because Mercury is a trap.
So,
Oh.
Alternatively, if Mercury is a planet, Pluto's a planet, Ceres is too. And Eris, and Haumea, and Make Make.
We don't have the resources or the voice actors to add those in.
yeah, unfortunately not. They might be background characters, but
Possibly. We'll see. We'll see.
we'll see. Okay, so
Yeah.
sorry for that technical difficulty. We'll call it that. I'll go back to what I was reading. I just finished talking about the orbit cycle, hadn't I? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Back to the character document. Saturn also acts as a kind of secretary to Jupiter in her official duties for the school council, organising her schedule and duties because Jupiter's lack of organisation annoys Saturn a lot. He goes around with a notebook and he's like, Jupiter, we're meant to be doing this and we're having a meeting here and you have to tell us this and you have to do this and you have to do this, and Jupiter's like, okay.
Oh, it'll be fine, Saturn. Don't worry about it.
He's the secretary of Jupiter's fourth flight.
No.
Oh yeah, the whole Nazi meme.
Let's not
That's-
get into
Let's
the
not
Nazi
do
meme
that
right
on
now.
stream because that'll get us in trouble on YouTube.
Yeah, again, there wasn't too much science behind this, but I think it's pretty cute. Like, what a good character thing, guys. Who says we don't put effort into this? Again, this was just
Yeah.
this almost came from me and D-Pad joking around when we were both way too tired in those early first weeks of the project. But yeah, we make a good bounce ideas. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you look back to the early solar system with the Nice model and stuff like that, basically Jupiter and Saturn, Jupiter was just flinging stuff out of the solar system left and right. Saturn kind of, you know, balanced that. And heck, Jupiter basically threw out the 5th ice giant.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasonings for that.
I hadn't come across that. I wasn't
Jupiter
even
the
thinking
bungle.
about that because I was thinking about the early solar system earlier. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I missed that. Rip. Okay, so then even at home, Saturn's room is neat and tidy, while Jupiter's is more messy and disordered. So, and I was thinking
Yes.
about like at home, obviously that's like the planets. So then that's where I linked in the rings. So obviously the rings give the almost the illusion of ordered beauty, and it's all like when it's actually like all of these bit random lumps of ice and rock, but they're just kind of compacted into these beautiful rings, and they stretch more than 18,000 miles wide, which is just incomprehensible. I don't know how anything
It's
could be.
Oof.
very big.
They are so thin though that they appear to disappear every few years from an Earth view because of perspective. When it goes round in the wrong place in its orbit, we just can't see the rings, and it's like,
Can't see 'em.
where did they go? Interestingly enough, this absolutely confused Galileo to death, which I think is quite funny.
I remember reading about that, yeah.
When he first saw the rings, he didn't think they were rings, obviously he could see them, and he decided that just like Jupiter's moons, that these rings of Saturn were actually just, because it was quite blurry to him, even with the telescopes, it was just 2 moons that kind of were almost stuck to the side. And then he looks again a year later and they're completely gone, and he's like, excuse me.
What?
And he's very
It's just-
confused. And I think the conclusion that he came to in the end was that Saturn had retractable arms.
What?
Good job. You're
Which
doing
is-
a good job.
Which is absolutely amazing. So the like best astronomer at the time, Galileo, who we credit for so many things, the telescope, and all of the Galilean moons and everything, concluded that
Good
the
job, Galileo.
planet had arms which it could stick in and out.
You're doing a great job, Galileo. Keep it up.
He's very much human, just like the rest of us.
But if we don't make
Saturn
a
is
joke about
basically a
that in the
Java
show, I
script.
will be really upset.
It's hilarious.
It's such beautiful. But anyway.
Now I just kind of want like Spider Saturn. 5 retractable arms.
Oh, you could
Superhero spinoff.
you could get like NASA to give him like a backpack with like robotic arms on the end that he can use to hold his
Dr.
notebook.
Octopus?
Oh, that would be funny.
I can now solve things 5 times as fast. I'll be unstoppable. Runs into a door. Runs into a door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. So yeah, back to the rings. Obviously, he manages to make a mess look neat with his rings, and many people say that Saturn through a telescope looks almost ethereal, which is, I think I
Yes,
agree.
it's very much, it contrasts with the like the very distinct and sort of chaotic lines of Jupiter. Saturn is very sort of one color and uniform all the way through, which is another thing I drew off of when doing their personality contrast.
Yeah, Saturn is gorgeous for a telescope. If you ever get a chance to
Saturn.
look, it is one of the best planets to look at.
Kind of makes
Saturn
you wonder
is-
what it would look like without the rings. Like if it would.
Why Majora's Mask?
This Majora's Mask is showing
Just
up.
play Majora's Mask.
Because 6 a.m.,
Oh.
Alright.
That's your alarm.
which is why I was asleep. Like, oh yeah, it's 6 a.m. Okay,
Well,
not until 6. All right, whatever.
as well as rings, Saturn has 62 moons and 88 moonlets. which is always the best word. Moonlets are
That's moonlit.
moonlets. It's
They're just over glorified rocks, big rocks.
well, they are
essentially.
they are small moons.
They
that
are-
They don't think are captured asteroids, but they're not quite moons because they decided that Saturn has too many moons already. But then they came up with this absolutely beautifully gorgeous, adorable name, Moonlet. So
Yeah.
How's the moonlit's gonna be in the anime?
okay.
You want me to write 150 character bios?
You got this, Comn. You can do it. We believe
Oh
in you.
no.
We should,
Control
should,
Most of
C,
them don't
Control
even have
V.
names.
they could be referenced. So they're like, Saturn, what did you do over the holiday? And he's like, oh, I had to go home. Having 150 siblings isn't that fun? And then you just have it like on the screen. Saturn's the only one that's actually properly drawn, and all the others are just stick figures in the background.
Yes, I love stick figure kind of jokes in animation.
But it would be quite funny to reference it, like both Jupiter and Saturn hate Christmas holidays because they have way too
He's
many
got
siblings.
62 younger siblings and like 85 cats.
Yes.
Oof.
It would be amazing. It'd be like, oh, I hate going home for Christmas. My mum's a crazy cat lady. It's just so many cats. And then, as we've already mentioned, Titan, just to pull out one of the biggest moon, it's the second largest moon in the solar system, and it has a frozen surface of liquid. I can't talk. It's too
Surface?
early.
Southeast.
Coffee.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Flower.
A frozen
Surface.
a frozen surface of liquid methane lakes. So there's a possibility of life inside, and they are looking at sending missions out to drill through the.
So if the moons are going to be cats, the cat that's based off Titan has to be purple with gold armor, obviously.
No. The cats would be the moonlets.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Then one of the little siblings based off Titan has to be purple with gold armor. And I was talking about eradicating half the population.
8th grade syndrome.
Just the edgiest little elementary schooler you could find.
Yes.
Yeah. All of the hydrostatically equilibrium all the objects in hydrostatic equilibrium are like elementary school kids, unless they're, proper planets, in which
Oh,
case
boy.
they're high schoolers. But all the
I don't
ones
want
that
to
are
get
like
into another argument of
crappy
what
ones.
or what not constitutes as a character based on one specific scientific number. I smacked that down as soon as people started saying it, because I'm like, no, we're not going to have this kind of like, oh, if it's X big or X wide, or if it does this or that, then it's a character. I'm like, no, if I want it to be a character, it's going to be a character. If I don't want it to be a character, it's not going to be a character.
How it goes.
Yep.
mm,
And the final point in the character document, the two twins had martial arts training as children, but while Jupiter stopped in middle school, Saturn continued it on, either being a wrestler or in the kendo club at high school. So
Yes.
strong boyo, basically. And
Sumo.
I don't know if Com had any scientific reference for this, but my closest one was that Saturn's winds are hella fast. Like, damn.
Yeah.
The fastest winds on
I think
Saturn
I read that, yeah.
are 1800 or 18,000? 1800, yeah, 1800 kilometers an hour, which is still
18,000 would be like the entire diameter of
Yeah, I was like, I'd written 18,000 somewhere else, and I couldn't remember what it was for. Oh yeah, 18,000 miles is the diameter of the wideness of the rings. But yeah, 1,800 kilometers an hour, which is insane considering like most people don't leave the house when it's over 80 kilometers an hour because you get like knocked over. It's ridiculous.
Yep. No, but the reasoning for that is because people kind of wanted Saturn as a wrestler, and then Jupiter needed some training so she could beat people up.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting character trait. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. The arm wrestles and stuff. So then just some random facts about Saturn that don't relate to anything, just to finish this off, even though we've been talking about it for far longer than I thought it would take, but that's pretty cool actually. So even though the Greeks, Romans, and many other ancient cultures could see Saturn, only one has any evidence of actually seeing its rings, even though they didn't have telescopes, which is quite interesting. But the New Zealand's Maori people, it's a name for it, which I will probably pronounce really badly, but it's Parerau or something like that. Is translated means surrounded by a headband, which is super interesting.
Ah.
Considering they didn't have telescopes as far as we know, so they had no way to know it had rings, and there's no diagrams or anything drawn by them to say that it had rings, but the name is just so odd. So nobody really knows if it's a coincidence or if the person who named it could see that
Just
it
had
had
really,
rings.
really good vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you have really good vision, you can actually see Venus's crescent shape from Earth. So
Yeah.
I don't know how large Saturn would appear with its rings.
It's really interesting. Can you imagine
That is really cool.
archaeological linguists who discovered, and they were like, they knew it had rings? What?
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, that would be.
Let me check this again like 5 times.
Yeah. I study Latin. I like the archaeological linguistics is so interesting to me, but I think, yeah, I just thought that was really cool. And then some other random facts, though. I think I've mentioned this. This is just about the probes. I've mentioned this already, but a total of 4 probes have been sent to Saturn. It was the final destination for 3 of them. The first one was Pioneer 11, which left Earth in 1973. That was NASA. And the latest one, which died in summer 2017, after having its mission extended a few times, was Cassini-Huygens. Huygens stayed on one of the moons, I can't remember which one off the top of my head, and Cassini crashed into the surface of Saturn on purpose because they wanted the data, and they live streamed it, and it was really cool. And it it was like sending data up right until the point where it died because they were trying to understand the atmosphere as deep as they could, and it was pretty cool. And one of the other really, really cool things about Cassini was that it was one of the most international projects worked on, because there were, if I recall correctly, there were 7 different experiments on Cassini that it did repeatedly. And each one of those experiments had a different scientific team from a different country working on it, controlling it, and backing it. So Cassini was receiving 8 different types of radio control from all over the Earth, which is pretty cool. And
It's really cool.
one of the I think it was the geology department, as it were, was controlled from the university which I want to go to. So that just
Nice.
makes me really happy because it's super cool. And Cassini discovered so many things about Saturn and all of the other moons, and some planets it visited on the way as well. Some things that we'd never really think of about geology everywhere. So if you want something to look up about space that's just quite an incredible journey, Cassini is a good place to start, and there's some beautiful pictures to go along with it, so I recommend it.
Yeah, it's always so just really cool when we get a probe out somewhere and then it just disproves everything we thought we knew.
Yeah. But it's the most exciting point. So
no, absolutely.
I don't want to talk about it completely because I think it's definitely, well, we're running out of time anyway, but it's definitely something you can look up. So if you're interested in space, Cassini, definitely Cassini. It's amazing. And with that's my kind of rant on Saturn. Again, I apologize for the stream going down for a bit there. Thanks for keeping it going, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's much appreciated.
No worries.
Yay.
All right.
Okay.
So, what are we moving on to now?
I was just closing my Saturn document. Oh, yeah, of course. Now that we've talked about Saturn for a while, I hope it was enjoyable. Thank you, Comn, for the suggestion. It's definitely a nice segment to do. Saturn, if you didn't know, if you're still watching, was voted on by the people of who we should do, and it was definitely an interesting one to start with. Again, in chat or in call, if you want to suggest your next character, because I would probably personally choose Mars, but I think it's better to do suggestions because it is you guys' podcast, and then you don't have to listen to me ranting about Mars for an hour. So
Mars
I
is the
know,
best planet.
let's do Mars.
Mars is easy because it's the one we have probably the most information on, except for our own.
But I did quite a lot of projects when I was younger on Mars. Like every time the teacher was like, do a PowerPoint presentation on a planet, I would always choose Mars. And I did my my coursework for my astronomy qualification on the probes that went to Mars. So I have like probably about 30,000 words on the probes that went to Mars. So it's
Nice.
definitely one of the things I like, but I'm hesitant to say, yes, let's definitely do it next week, because I could talk for way more than an hour and a half on Mars.
I vote to get Flower to read that word for word for the entire.
Oh,
Yeah, probably not.
It's from about
I vote
6
Mars.
years ago, so my English was absolutely terrible. Like it's baby language. I don't even know how I passed that qualification, honestly. Like I was putting
Hey,
way
it's
too early,
fine.
but it was quite funny. So yeah, if anybody has any suggestions other than Mars, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Since we
I
did
mean, I'm
Saturn,
happy to
don't
talk
we
about
do
any
Jupiter?
planets.
Yeah.
And Pluto.
Oof.
I vote carries, if not Mars.
Oh, we're not going to talk about any of the dwarf planets. Probably not.
No,
Sad face.
I'll vote on Mars. All right. Well, if anybody has any objections, I'll probably ask in general chat as well. But yeah.
I'm fine with Mars.
So get in general on the server after the podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to be a conspiracy theory podcast next time.
Yes, Alex Jones, conspiracy face, all of it.
Yeah. All right. Mars. Awesome.
And maybe I'll actually join earlier instead of passing out.
That would work. Okay, so we've got 50 minutes left. Damn.
Oof.
We can either do the game I mentioned earlier, or we can chat about one of the random topics. It's up to you guys.
I would say probably the topics, because I don't think we really have enough time to
Makes
fully do justice to the game.
I'm not mentally prepared for a game anyway.
sense. All right, we'll leave that for next
Shush,
time.
I'm not going to say that part.
And we will leave it as a surprise, so that the chat is still like, "Ooh, what are we doing next week?" Okay, so the two random topics I have probably won't take that long, but it's probably a good idea. Is the first thing is we've talked a lot about 1 million view challenges, and if we get 1 million views, I'm going to eat a banana. With dinner.
And I actually had an idea for what I could do finally for the 1 mil challenge.
Oh, go for it.
It's absolute torture. So it does have to do with hyperdimension. Of course it does.
Okay.
Here's the thing: the first hyperdimension game is actually pretty difficult.
Right.
So and it has a difficulty setting of easy, normal, and hard. Not only do I play it, do I play it on hard mode, but I play it as a Nuzlocke. Because you get a lot of characters in this game. Difficult game, Nuzlocke, hard mode. Oof, it's gonna be utter torture. But I'll do it.
Sounds like a good plan. That would be fun to see updates of and stuff. I think one of the best things about all the 1 million view challenges is most of them can be live streamed for our own.
Yes.
For everybody else's amusement. So, yeah.
Yeah, my utter torture.
It's gonna be great. But other than that, I think we've talked about loosely in the team before, but I just thought it'd be nice to mention if we don't get 1 million views, or before we get 1 million views, when episode 1 is released, what kind of celebrations do you want to have? Because I think we'll definitely have to do something.
Meeting at the North Pole.
We can celebrate by telling Elon Musk.
Yeah, we'll send him an email. Be like, hey, it's us again. Have you blocked us yet?
Just go to his house.
Yeah, I'm not going to his
Everyone
house.
meet up at his house. Everyone meet up at his house. That's where the meetup is.
Where does he even
In his
live?
backyard.
Yo, Comn, you lived in Houston, so go tell NASA.
Just
He is
show up at the
dancing.
Johnson Space Center.
Oh my
Or no, not the Johnson Space Center. No, yeah.
Just like, hello,
Or
I'm
no, it's
NASA.
Johnson Space Center. Yep,
Hello,
that's the
can
one.
I
Just
interest
knock
you
on-
in the Lord and
knock-
Savior Earth chat?
I actually need to make sure that that's the right Space Center.
knock on the door of the JPL and be like, hello. It's
The
us.
JPL's in freaking
California.
California.
Yeah, I know, but
Easy, I'll
Oh,
drive
God.
over there.
yeah, just drive.
I'll
Oh.
join you midway.
Oh yeah, it is the Johnson Space Center in Houston.
May I
Excellent.
interest you in our Lord and Savior Earth chat?
I think it would be cool if we had like a live stream party or something. I think definitely
Of
the
course.
team's gonna celebrate, but we maybe
Oh, we're definitely gonna celebrate.
it's just
I'm
like
gonna
Mhm.
ma-
we should start thinking about what we're gonna do because we've got literally everything else planned, and then we're gonna be like, oh, now we need to wait a week before we release it because we haven't thought of how we're gonna celebrate yet.
I mean, I thought about it, and I think I'm gonna do like a 30-minute thank you video.
With all of the voice clips in, or just with you like praying?
Just me just talking.
That would be cute.
It's gonna make it as emotional as possible.
Oh, damn. I don't know what I'd do. I've definitely been thinking like, because obviously people are starting to go to conventions and stuff, but there's
Yeah.
no like we have Comic-Con, but it's like the UK conventions are like literally nothing compared to the American ones. It's kind of sad. They're either like so small that 20 people go, or there's like one which the entire country comes to, and they try and fit literally everything that anybody could ever want a convention for into the same hall, and you can't move. So it's like it doesn't go down too well.
I mean, there's a meetup at my local park I could go to, but I won't.
Just a random meetup.
It's not even anime related. It's just like a barbecue.
Oh, barbecues are good fun. It's just
Yeah.
like we can't really. It would be really cool if we could be like, oh, let's get all the team together and have a barbecue for episode 1. But it would be really silly because unless we like use FaceTime or something and everybody made an individual barbecue.
Nah,
Virtual
just
hot
come
dogs,
over here.
people. Virtual hot dogs.
We're
It would
all
just be
inside
one
a hot
person
dog.
eating. It would be really sad. But yeah, I think it's definitely something we need to think
I'll just email you guys some barbecue.
about.
Wait,
Nah, it'd just
get-
be
get-
an excuse to all, randomly show up at Com's house.
Oh
Just
god.
like, hey, how's it
or what
going?
we could do
There are
is
I
get
don't know.
barbecue.
There are
I
30
don't-
people on the team. I think that would be quite intimidating.
I don't think my house is big enough for that.
That'd be quite the party.
Yeah. Be crazy.
It would be cool.
It'd be fun, but it'd be crazy. Nah. I'm planning on thinking of something fun.
I'll send you
Yeah,
a,
we can all
a
do it.
greeting
Are we gonna
card
get a
with one
meme
of those.
bonus for it?
Ooh,
Like, we get paid in
Probably.
memes, we're gonna get a bonus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
When am I getting paid?
bonus meme.
I can't do the cat girl dress up early, but I'll think of something else.
Ooh, awesome.
What do you mean you can't do it?
1 million views, man.
1 million views.
Unless the PV gets 1 million views, but you guys got to work hard for that one.
Like someone to make 1 million fake accounts.
Have fun.
Just rewatch it like 300 times.
Yeah,
I'll
just
send
have
you
a
a-
rock down on your F5 button on the page.
I'll send you a postcard when one of those, like, when you open it, it plays an audio file, but I'll send it to Oh Dearie Me Not Again.
You could, like,
That's
have you ever sent someone glitter in an envelope?
that's the worst.
I've
Do
gotten
that.
glitter
Everyone
bombs.
send Tom an envelope of glitter.
I've gotten,
Oh.
I haven't gotten
And-
glitter,
and
but
be
I've
like-
gotten
And tell him we're all writing handmade thank you cards for setting up the project. But when every time you open them, it's just glitter.
Damn it.
I'll send you Comn nudes.
No,
Why?
not on the stream.
I'm guessing the answer to the question is why not.
Oh.
Shows my appreciation for our team leader.
Maybe too much
Not
appreciation.
That's not usually what you give your boss in like a thank you gift.
Thanks, boss. Here's naked pictures.
What I
of you.
mean, it's what I did when I said, it's what I did when I quit my job.
What? You looted your previous boss and sent them pictures.
Not gonna deny it, but
He
Okay.
who denied it supplied it.
I'm just gonna say that that's probably not something you should do when you get
Yeah.
into an actual business world job.
That's not good business.
Don't do that. You're
Well, I
gonna have a
got
hard
fired,
time
but I
finding a
didn't-
new job.
But I got fired, but then I said I quit.
So it
Got
doesn't
So it's all good.
No.
So who really won here?
You're
Ooh.
fired. No, you. Oh,
Basically.
They just quit on the spot and give you their job.
Luigi and Comn in a nutshell.
I've done that before. It was not a fun job.
So how do we tell Luigi?
what's how?
He's
do you
already
get-
gone.
Spam him.
Does some? Is anyone actually still like friends with him?
Not that I know
He's
of.
still
I
on
still
my
have
friends
Have not
list.
been able to
on
communicate.
Discord, but his account is not online.
Me
He's
too.
probably switched to a different one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we could probably still search him on Reddit.
I mean,
because he
I'm
usually
sure
does
if we
the
get
Reddit
it-
posts,
If we get it popular enough,
he'll see it.
they'll see it.
Yeah.
He'll come back and we bring back that meme.
Yes.
We're not bringing back the grand meme.
We aren't, he is.
Oh God.
He just comes back in after like 6 months and be like, "Oi, come, it's my project. Get out."
You're like, what you want? You want?
You what?
We'll have to settle this in a duel.
I'm not what? You're a fucking lizard, Harry. Anyway, let's not
Jousting.
do
Sure.
that. I'm a what?
I'm a what?
You're a wizard.
You're a wizard. What?
You're a
Oh,
wizard.
wizard
Where?
Harry.
A what?
This is how to get
But I'm
copyright
just
strike,
Harry.
everyone.
You're a Harry
Wizard
wizard.
Harry.
Listen, Harry. Okay.
You're
You're
an
a
Earth
Harry.
Gen
I'm
anime
a
project
blizzard
leader,
Harry.
What?
Yes.
You're a blizzard, Harry.
I'm a planet, NASA. You're a what?
No.
Okay, so then the last thing before we finish off, is quickly, what are you looking forward to most about the summer that's coming up? Just like a nice little happy ending thing.
Not
What
school.
summer?
Not
Yay.
school. That's a good thing.
Definitely.
I live in Australia, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, this was for the American
Well, it's your
podcast.
winter. What are you looking forward to about winter?
In fact, I can wear nice scarves.
Oh,
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
That's
I
always good.
When it's like winter's coming up, I look forward to being able to
I can bring
snug
up
in
my
blankets
collection.
without sweating to death. But then when summer's coming up, it's like I can wear really cute shorts
Well,
and not freeze to death. So
send pics.
no,
Oh,
it's
come
like-
on. No.
it's like the like balance of like I want to be really comfy and have hundreds of blankets, but I also just want to show like that I don't know what I was gonna say.
I also have a bed warmer
Alright.
that's real nice.
It's like yeah, no, be like
You gotta balance the cute and the comf.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like you gotta be comfy, but you gotta be like cool. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just always go for 100% comf.
Tactical.
I
Yeah.
mean, it depends. I bought some really comfy shorts the other day. They're like kind of like mock gym shorts, but I'm not going to do any gym in them. I'm just going to wear them and look like I do sports. That's what I
I don't actually work out. This is just what it looks like if I would have.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. You're a lizard, Zuckerberg. Good
Yes.
observation. Good observation.
I have a bunch of clothes I allocated as my outdoor clothes, but I haven't worn them in a year.
Oof.
But yeah, the thing I'm looking forward to most about the summer is getting the summer wardrobe out, because it's definitely like, you know, when you have to like put a jumper on and then a coat and then like an extra pair of trousers and then a hat and a scarf and then gloves, and it's like, why am I even wearing a t-shirt? You know, like, nobody can see how cool the slogan on my t-shirt is. But when it's summer, it's like, oh yeah, I've got this new t-shirt and it has a NASA logo on, but it says Mars in the middle and there's a picture of Elon Musk.
That's why you
It's
have
so
cool stuff.
No one can see my cool Earth Chan shirt. Wink, wink. Hint, hint. Merch,
Yeah.
merch.
That feel when you live somewhere where your summer wardrobe is your winter wardrobe.
I have to swap all of my clothes out. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had to take all of the clothes out of my wardrobe, put them into boxes and put them in the loft, and then get the boxes of my summer clothes out and put them in the wardrobe. And now I just have to hope that it doesn't go cold again, otherwise I'm screwed.
You don't have 2 wardrobes?
No.
There's no space. That's what you've got
What?
a loft for.
To be honest, I don't have a wardrobe either. It's just a pile.
I just wear the same clothes all year round. I just put really, really warm coats on when I go outside.
But
No, it ranges from like 110 to 70, and that's t-shirt and shorts all year.
Fun fact, I'm actually wearing a scarf right now.
Ooh,
I wish.
Nice.
comfy.
I wish it was cold.
Yeah, it is a bit hot.
I wish it were one.
And we don't have aircon, so it's like
Yeah, that's the big issue.
it gets to like I don't even know how many degrees it is right now. It's 19. So it's
I'm
not
pretty
that
sure
bad, but
the biggest consumption of electricity where I live is air conditioning.
I
Makes
mean
sense.
it is definite. We wouldn't. The thing is, we'd only use it for like 2 weeks of the year, so we probably wouldn't. But it's just like, is it worth it? It's so expensive. But then it gets to this point in the year where people, if they work at an office job, and new offices usually have aircon, they want to go to work because it's far more bearable to be at work than at home, because home is like swelteringly hot and you have to lie down and put ice cubes on your head, but work is just like beautifully aircon.
That was literally me last summer. My work was air conditioned and my house was not.
But yeah, like, but then it becomes like the other way around, because old buildings in England don't even have heating, so then
Oh.
Oof.
in the winter it's like my school hasn't had a boiler for 4 years now, so we're allowed to bring blankets and coats into class, which is great. Like
Nice.
sitting in the
Those were
sitting in the-
banned in my school.
sitting in the back of maths classroom with a winter coat and a blanket on your legs.
I bring a blanket and pillow to school, so when it's lunchtime, I can sleep in the library all warm.
Nice.
Hey.
I think most people do that anyway.
Nap time is
We've
important.
just had our sixth form common room redecorated, so we've got all these new fancy comfy sofas, and nobody sits on them, everyone lies down on them because they're just so comfy. They're too comfy. But yeah.
Yeah, my refuge is the fact that I work. Part of my work is in like the freezer and refrigerator.
Nice.
I'll just go there.
Yeah, that's
It is like -5 Fahrenheit in the freezer though, so you can't stay there too long.
but it just cools you down enough that you can face the
Oh,
outside world
absolutely.
again. Yeah, that sounds really nice.
I have
I might go stick
in
head
my
in the
school
freezer
bag. I
for a
have
bit.
3 power banks, 2 of which is to power my mini fan I use to cool myself.
Nice. Tactical.
You guys in your hot countries. I don't think I even have a mini fan anymore. They're like
You don't have a mini fan? Weak.
No.
I don't have a mini fan.
I had one like years ago.
I really want to tap in my room though, because I
You're
feel
not
like
tactical enough.
my main way of cooling down, I never remember to put my fan on. I just run into the bathroom and stick my head under the cold tap. So instead of a fan in my room, I want like a cold tap, so I can just stick my head under it.
Just using the fan. Well played, Catter. Well played.
Well, with that, I mean, that's pretty much time. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed our Saturn and summer time. As I said a little while ago, I mean, I don't know if anyone's joined since then, but there will be no stream next week. I'm really sorry. Unless someone else wants to take it over on the team, but that's up to you guys, I guess. I will be on camp, and I will be posting lots of pictures, so you guys can look forward to that. When we get back, we will be talking about Mars, and there will be lots of exciting things happening, and hopefully there will also be karaoke, so look forward to that.
Yay.
As I said,
Yay.
I hope you enjoyed this week. We certainly have.
Yay.
Yeah.
Have a good next week. Be good in general, chat, and remember, Earth chans, not flat.
Emma
Yep.
these
Bye-bye.
trap.